All right, how's it going, folks? Yesterday, I had this conversation with a family member, and I congratulate him because I thought he already bought the land in the area that I'm living in at the moment. And I congratulate him, which he told me no, he didn't bought the house. They were thinking of buying in my area. And I said to him, I don't want to be a deal breaker, but I would like to be the first in the family to tell you why not to buy in my area. Not because of your dream house or whatever, and I told him the reason behind it. First things first, I said to him is that you have a doctor title, right? Whatever what you study. But he went to La Trobe University, and one of them is medicine. And I said to him, okay, cool, I know your history background. Why Wollert? Because of a brand new house, brand new suburb, bricks and mortar is brand new. You can have a double-story house, 5 bedroom, probably 1 mil. Maybe you can have a single-story house with that features, whatever it is, maybe 750,000. All right, whatever the outcome is. Okay, I told him, yeah, it's a great choice if you only care about yourself. But I'm only speaking from my heart because I'm pretty sure you want to pass on your legacy, right? Your legacy is you're a highly intellectual person, all right? You're a successful business. You do not want your kids to affiliate the people in this neighborhood. And I explained to him why, because a lot of migrants does not understand this, because they, for example, my partner who's from Vietnam, and she's been telling me, well, government school is better than any other private school or religious school, a highly above, right? Then I explained to her, well, in Australia it's different because we have a hierarchy. Government school is 100% funded by the government. Then on top, obviously, if he has a high IQ, they go government selective. Then after that, you got like private schools such as like religious schools. Then after that, you probably have like college or whatever. Then after that, you have grammar, and you got boarding school on top. This is the chart, right? I explained to her that, and I explained to him the same reason. I explained to him like, okay, you live in the bricks and mortar, you please your wife, your family, you live in the Australia dream, brand new house, brand new everything like that. I explained to him why suburbs like Wollert, like yeah, migrants, it's heavily migrants, but not very high on white collar comparison those who lives in Doncaster, Box Hill, Bowen, Kew, Toorak, Glen Waverley. And I don't want to overhype it, and I just say, just look at Glen Waverley. Reason why Glen Waverley is expensive is 1.5 mil. Second-hand house, as many people here, old house, I don't like it. You have like that. Reason why that a lot of Chinese people like it is there's a large Chinese community, wealthy class of them. Maybe something that ties with the CCP. That is not up to me to determine. There's a whole shopping strip of groceries and Chinese restaurant flourish at night. There's a nightlife as well. There's a shopping center, and it's very accommodated to Chinese community. There's not much, and there's a train station, and there's very good schools around, Wesley College, whatever what you guys name it, all these grammars, good government school, private school, everything around there. That's why it's worth 1.5. Why does Wollert, single story house, why does not worth 1.5? So he looked at me. So I explained to him, I'm like, you did medicine. Right, you did La Trobe. What's the best medicine course in Victoria, in Melbourne? Which uni is the best one? He says Monash. So I'm like, all right, let's change the whole subject then. You got to look at the school the way how you look at the houses. For example, you say Monash. Why Monash is better? I can tell you right now, comparison to La Trobe. Well, first things first, they have the money and budget to secure better, high quality professors, lecturers, tutorials, markers, because there's a lot of funding, a lot of international students and high achievers going to that sort of schooling, as well with Melbourne University. When you're in that environment, when you do like that, obviously there's different grades on teachers. For example, like lecturers and tutorial, right? They have a different payroll. So, and I explained to him, could you imagine, all right, let's do side-by-side comparison with Monash and Victoria University. Victoria University is first things first is in the low socioeconomic area, not the high achiever. It's the leftover students that they have a low ATAR intake as well. They'll take any students, and the teachers are each the funding's got cut by the government, so the government will hire bachelor grads and to do tutorials and as well with lectures to course coordinator. So I explained to them, and the learning from Monash and VU is different. And of course, VU, the cost is cheaper per year comparison to Monash. I explained to him the apples to apples. All right, it's the same thing, same university. It's a university, government funded, X, Y, and Z. But why is that one's better than the other one? And I explained to that in that level because he understands, right? And obviously, there's two markers to mark your assessment, right? X, Y, and Z, whatever. So they can have like a lecture tutorial, and the course is very important. The units is important. You look at it, what's relative, relevant, not too much gender studies or feminist studies or useless course that's not beneficial on medicine. That's what I explained to you. So VU will be heavy on that, and that one's like that. So you come out, one is very heavily on today's world with the PC, and the other one is very focused on the trade, industry, the quality of it. So I explained the same thing with if I was in his shoes, why would I pick bare minimum, all right, baseline, Bandura? And I explained to him why. Well, the schooling here is it's known in the northern suburb. It's affordable, even though if we have the chance to take your kids to a private school, for example, religious school, can be maybe 3,000 a year or blah blah blah. To this religious school and that religious school, even though maybe you're not religious, but maybe you could put your name into it. X, Y, and Z. Why religious school, or why private school, or why college or high above? Well, comparison to government, because I explained to him because it's not being raised here, and what I said to him is this: the government school is 100% funded by the government, and follow whatever the criteria what the government in place in the area, and they can have any teachers to go and taught this type of school. All right, so I explained to him that, so the teachers are like that. And it's more of the PC that sort of topic that's gonna be learnt on this amount. And teachers, even when they taught the subject, they spoon feed the answers to them immediately. Comparison to private or college or whatever, there's almost way to spoon feeding, but most of the time they make you go find the information or X, Y, Z. And I explained to him about my sister, or half sister. We went from a government school went to one of the best Melbourne government selective school, which is Macrobertson. Macrobertson, she was there. They taught her uni style, academia, finding information, Harvard reference at a very young age. Yes, they'll be doing the same ATAR test or VCE or HSC in Sydney. They'll do the same thing, but at the end of the day, even if they got the ATAR, they're competent enough to go to university. And for you who are highly intellectual, I'm pretty sure you want your legacy to be some form, maybe not medicine for your kids, but maybe achieve and probably higher chances of succeeding at university and going through this assessment without an issue. That's why I explained to him that way. Why? For example, there's a popular boys' school. You have a boy, you have a son and a daughter. Okay, son goes to parade. Why should you go parade, or why your daughter go Loyola, or you can both of them go to Loyola? No problem. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. Why? Because there's two teachers in a class. One main teacher on the front board. The second teacher is monitoring every single students, right? To see what they lack of or what they're behind. Is this learning style suit them or X, Y, Z? They go even deeper. If they're dyslexic or autism, they'll give them a different work for them to understand. Instead of kicking out the classroom or kick them out the school, they work within because you're in a religious school. They don't discriminate based on your learning or X, Y, and Z. That is the reason behind. I explained to him, like even they say like $7.5K a year, you have to double it because there's uniforms, school books, excursion, blah 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 blah. Just charge it as 15,000. Can you afford two of your kids $30K a year? going to this high school, I'm pretty sure it's doable for your based on your income X, Y, and Z. So I explained this to him why you shouldn't choose my Wollert suburb comparison to a baseline suburb. Now, obviously, if you want to go to like Glen Waverley or Box Hill, or it's even better. You're surrounded by good networking. Those who come from high socioeconomic, those who go to private schools are usually high socioeconomic. Where government school, yes, you can have like intact families, but they can be mixed around with divorcee parents and as well with child protection kid or autism, where the teachers does not dare to talk or put a finger or put a report, where unlike private schools they give a report to the family week or monthly or day to whatever, say your son or your daughter is lack on this area, can you know this and that, inform them. And if they want to move forward, whatever, or be a high achiever or school report book or exam or essay, they explain the reason behind. That's why there's a lot of work from that sort of school, and they attract very good teachers as well. So that's why I explained to him and all that. Now he understands. But I said to him, I don't tell you what to do in life, but if you believe your child deserves to have a great education and great life, this is the path as a bare minimum. Of course, what's the difference between Bundoora and Glen Waverley? Well, Glen Waverley is a lot attract more better teachers, and there's a lot better tutorers, teachers who are X, Y, and Z. So I explained to him that, so he understands that, and I told him that you're more than welcome to come to Wollert, but don't expect your daughter or your son to end up near or go to university or X, Y, and Z. If you don't believe me, go speak to this family member of niece and nephew who go to this area. Go try and error, maybe some learning material or academia books or whatever. Let them see how they react immediately. That's what I explained to him straight away. Obviously, we cannot control kids, but if we can minimize that environment, that would be great. And I explained to him, last one, I know it's 12 minutes, but what happens when you go to a school that is all about bullying, cool kids, hierarchy, system, like my sister went to government school and get suspended and being a bad student, where she's very highly intellectual, right? And students are not praising highly intellectual. They praise the, be part of me, the clan or the group, be rough and this and that, or it's cool for you to lose your virginity at a very young age. And I explained to him that kids in Australia, man, girls, they lose virginity at the age of 13. They'll be on contraceptive pill at a very young age. And the reason behind not only just birth control, but also just the enhancement, growing their breasts in a faster, rapid pace. So that's why I told him, that's why you see many of the girls who reach 15 or 16, they're fully developed. Like you look at them, you're like, wow, she looks like she's 18 or X, Y, and Z. So that's why it's the concept of that when you have like that. And I explained to him, so we in the world on OF and Instagram. Could you imagine what next 15, I wouldn't say 15 because they're kids alive. Could you imagine what's 10 years it's going to be like? There's a reason why all these Instagram girls came from, or OF girls, because they started at a very young age. They think it's normal to do this, and now they're making money and clout and fame and whatever with the social media. I can't imagine what's 10 years going to be like. And I told him one final thing is that if I was in your position, I'll invest in your kids. Reason behind is because when the AI kicks in, you have all this wealth and money, whatever, I don't care, but you have a mentally stress for their future. Because if they are not competent on reading and writing and they're growing up, what sort of job is there when AI kicks in? For your daughter, it's okay. She can marry to some guy, a rich guy, or a guy that can look after. But what about your son? And that's how deep I went. Alright, so that's the video. I was thinking of, maybe I should send this video to him, just a reminder. So yeah, that's about it. That's the video.